Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So we've been talking about life principles so far, but these past few days I've been away and I want to apologize for that. But I assure you I'm back now, I'm back for good, and you'll be seeing me quite often. We've already spoken about a lot about life principle from A to F so far, if I can remember vividly. So now we're going right into G. G actually stands for growth and giving. One very important thing about life is growth. Like it is a human nature to grow. We are not supposed to remain stagnant in any way. We are not supposed to live uh, to to be in a certain stage for a long time or the whole of our life. We are supposed to grow each day, if possible. We are not supposed to be the person that is known for a certain amount of stage. Just like, let's say, you are born a child, or should I say a neonate, then you grow to be a child, gradually to an adolescent, then now to an adult. So that is the whole definition of what growth is about. You're not supposed to remain in a certain stage for life. You're supposed to keep growing as you age. So, and there are many aspects of our lives that needs growth, so many. But so far, I've highlighted 8 of them, and we'll be talking about them. So I'll start from the one that we all know, which is financial. One very important thing about finance is that it gives you freedom. That is why it's called financial freedom. Freedom to explore life, freedom to experience life, freedom to be who you want to be or who you need to be. Because to be honest, you don't really know what you are capable of until you are truly free. And one thing money gives you is that freedom, because then you tend to know your limits, you tend to know things that you can do, because you're totally free to be and do whatever you want to do. So financial freedom is very important. So as much as possible, we are advised to go through the stages of finance, which I will say is you work for money, then gradually invest in money, and then money start working for you. Although there's many of us that might not get to the stage where money work for us, but as much as possible, you should work for money, invest it, and also have enough to experience life. Because the whole idea of this world is not to just come and just be here. We're supposed to experience it, and one of the things that help us do that is money. So financial freedom is very important. You're supposed to grow gradually in finance. Then the next one is career, or should I say skill, career and skill. Um, one of our major problem is that many of us tend to hold on to the idea in our formative stage, like those things that we were taught when we were growing, those experiences we had, we tend to hold on to it and keep moving based on that. But the thing about life, or about uh, being a master of your work or being the best at what you do, is exposing yourself to as much knowledge as possible, because life is revolving. Like, things are changing every day. There's, in fact, nothing is stagnant. You can, what you know today, you might wake up tomorrow and you realize that it's a totally different ball game. That if what you know, you can't even apply it to what you are used to. So it to be master of your craft or be the best at what you do, you really need to be innovative, expose yourself to as many ideas as possible. This so as to help you become better at what you are doing or whatever field you find yourself. So it is very important to grow in our fields, not just growing. That's it definitely involves knowledge, continuous practice, and innovation, and a lot more. So it is advisable not to hold on to the ideas that you already know, but to keep exploring and exposing yourself to newity or novelty. So that is very important for career growth and skill wise. Then the next one is intellectual. This aspect is talking about our intelligence. To really make wise decision or to live a fulfilled life, you need knowledge. You need not just knowledge, good information. You also need to be exposed to information that will help you grow, help you become better, and help you become the best version of yourself. Because that thing you are looking for can be in one book that you refuse to read. It can be in one podcast you refuse to listen to. It can be in one conversation that you are failing to expose yourself to. So as much as possible, we should try to grow intellectually. Expose yourself to as much healthy information as possible, because I need to be specific, because there are so many informations out there and many are not even beneficial. So it is very important to expose ourselves to as many information as possible, so that we'll be able to make good decision, create new ideas, just tend to do things that will be of great benefit to us and help us grow. So intellectual growth is very, very important. And after intellectual growth, the next thing is emotional growth. We need to get to a stage where you are not triggered by what people say. You are not affected by people's action. You are not affected by people's opinion. It should be that when you act, you are acting based on the facts that you want to act, but not based on the facts that, not based on what someone is saying, because that automatically is no longer action, it is reaction. And one thing about reaction is that it's no longer in your control. So you are totally at the mercy of the person that is triggering you. So we need to develop ourselves emotionally to the point that everything we do, every action we take, and every word spoken is actually something we do intentionally, not because of our emotional states, not because of how we feel or how the person makes us feel, but because we choose to act or say whatever we want to say. So it is very important to grow emotionally. Emotional growth is very, very important, because that alone can actually really determines how people see you. It determines how far you go in life, because the truth is, the more you keep growing, the more you are exposed to certain kind of people, and the more, I assure you, you'll be triggered. So it is very important to hold your emotions, to have total control of your emotions. Learn to be, I know it takes time, but we have to learn to only act based on the fact that we want to, and not based on the fact that we are triggered by somebody's actions or opinion. So emotional growth is very important, because you are not also you are not expected to act as an adult, to keep acting like a child, because it feels weird. Because as an adult, you are expected to have outgrown some certain habits and uh, some certain things. So when you start acting in certain ways, it feels weird. So emotional growth is very important, especially as you're moving towards success, and you're meeting people, and you're exposing yourself to life. So emotional growth is very important. So the next one after emotional growth is mental. This depends, this is totally on mindset. And we all know that when it comes to mindset, we have positive and negative. And when it comes to mindset, we are all advised to always move towards positive, because life is all about our perspective. It's how you see things, it's how you interpret things, it's how you respond to things, it's how you, it just depends on your view of life. It just depends on your view. So it is very important that we have a positive mindset, have a mindset that sees good in almost anything. Just even your adversities, even if you face challenges, you just tend to just see, you're open-minded, you only see the good in it. You have built yourself or your mindset to the point that no matter what happens to you, no matter how difficult life might be, no matter how bad situations might look, you always see the light at the end of the tunnel. So it is very important to build our mindset, build our mentality, build our view, create a view on how life is or how life should be like, or how we interpret life generally, or interpret events, interpret things around us. So mental growth is very important because it is one thing that determines how far we'll go in life. So it is very important to have a growth mindset. It's very important to have a mentality that see positivity in everything. It's very important to have an open mindset. So that is very important. The next on the list is personal. This is just getting to know yourself. This is getting to know how you are, how you function, things you outgrown, things you are passionate about, things that makes you feel better, things that you value. It's just all about getting to know yourself, your weaknesses, your strengths, and many more. So this part is very important because if you don't really know who you are, you won't really know how to function. You won't get to know where to place yourself in life. So it is very important we get to know ourselves deeply, get to build on things that we think need building, get to discard things that we think are not of benefit to us, and get to just work on ourselves generally. So without knowing yourself, you won't get to do that. So personal growth is very important. Get to create a relationship with yourself, get to know yourself, get to have deep conversations with yourself. That is very, very important. And the last but not the least, and also which I feel is very important, is spiritual growth. This is one part that I feel is like a sustenance to success and to life itself. Connecting with your creator, connecting with your source is one thing I feel is the backbone of success. Yeah, of course, there is hard work, there is smart work, there is discipline, there is putting effort. But one thing that really helps you navigate through all this process successfully is how much or how deeply you are connected to your creator. Like I say, anytime you hear about success, you always tell you pray, always tell you speak to God, always tell you talk to God, always tell you to create to your higher self. Sorry, always tell you to connect to your higher self, to connect to your highest power, and all that. So I feel, and all this tends towards connecting to God, connecting to your source, connecting to yourself. And funny enough, if you don't connect with your creator or whatever you believe in, you cannot even connect with yourself. You cannot even find yourself. And the beautiful thing about it is that connecting with your creator, your source, your higher self gives you this sense of fulfillment. So it is very, very important to connect with ourselves, especially if we really want to go far in life. So it is very important to connect to our higher self, to God, interact with Him, create a deep and valuable um, connection with Him, and you see how far you go in life. So basically, these are just the 8 aspects of our life I feel are important, needs growing, not just once in a lifetime growth, but a continuous process until your end or until our end, because this part really determines a a significant parts of our lives. So once all this part has been developed, grown, and established, the next thing is giving. Just like when you teach something, you get to also understand it better. It's the same thing with this aspect too. Giving mustn't be financial. Giving mustn't be monetized. Giving can be the information you have, the idea you have, and you share it with someone, and the person also benefits from it. It can be okay, through your journey of self-discovery and all that, you tend to share it with someone, and they also find a way to also help themselves. So all these parts is also given. And when it comes to skills and career, you can also teach someone and they get to also benefit from it. So giving mustn't be money, it mustn't be finance, it mustn't be related to financial, um, it mustn't be related to finance. It can be anything. It can be information, it can be help, it can be idea, it can be strategy. You just give it, you just share it with someone or to a group of persons and they get to benefit from it. So all these parts also is part of giving. So it is very important as an individual to grow all these aspects of life to find to become successful. And when I mean successful, it's not always financial. It's successful can be living a peaceful life, a healthy life, a fulfilling life. So these aspects are necessary to get to that point, and to really have a complete sense of joy and happiness, you also have to give it, and also to have a deep understanding of your own journey too. You also have to give it out, teach it out, teach someone. Sorry, just do things that is do share whatever you have with someone that can be of benefit to the person. So this is just all about giving and growing. Thank you so much for listening. See you in my next episode for the next life principle. And please don't forget, if you know, I just shared eight aspects of our lives that need growth. If you have any idea or any suggestion of other aspect that you think might need growing and improvement, please don't forget to make the suggestion in the comment section. And also, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share to someone that you think might need this information. Thank you so much for listening. See you in my next episode and my next video for the next life principle. Bye.